All right, so today we're having another tech talk with MH Corbin, and something that came up recently was related to our traffic counters. And there's two ways to deploy our traffic counters. We have the rubber cover, which is this, and we have Tapecoat, which is this. Tapecoat comes in a roll, like so. It's normally a bigger roll, and you roll off pieces that you need, you cut them to length, and then you pull this off. Let me see if I can get you a better picture here of this. Here, like so. And pull that apart. It reveals the adhesive side. So if you've ever dealt with double side tape, it's a similar thing. You pull the end off, you stick it down. Now here's the problem. This is designed to go on the pavement. So as you can tell with any surface, it's got to be clean for it to stick to. So if you ever put tape on something and there was any dirt or anything on it, it immediately fell off, it wouldn't stay, it wouldn't adhere to the surface. So if you're putting this down on pavement, obviously you need a little brush or something to brush the pavement, get the dirt and the loose rocks and things off. So that applies to your traffic counter. So when you put your traffic counter down, you need to make sure the surface is flat. And I'll give you this as an example. Surface has to be flat. Put your traffic counter down. You don't want it sitting on a rock or something. Let's just use this as an example. If it's sitting on something like this, obviously it's not going to count properly. Does that make sense? So you want your traffic counter to sit on a flat surface. At the same time, the surface has to be very clean for the tape to adhere to. So along those lines, you're going to use Tapecoat. Now you'll notice, why do I have this old dirty counter in my video? Well, I'm glad you asked that. I actually have two here for you to look at. This is a brand new NC350. If you remember my other videos, NC350 is identified by the blue end cap here, which means it has Bluetooth capability. This is an actual older counter. This is an NC300. Now you'll notice it looks very dirty. I mean really dirty. This thing came back for an RMA, had to come back for repairs, had a battery problem. But one thing we noticed, this customer clearly uses Tapecoat. How do we know? Because you see all this leftover rubber and adhesive on this thing? It's because they used their traffic counters with Tapecoat, and they actually ended up getting some of this directly onto the counter. It's almost impossible to get all this stuff off without a lot of what we call elbow grease and some cleaner to rub on it and get it off. It's not so bad that getting it on the case itself, it just makes a mess. But what I want to show you here is the pins on the end. This is where your cable plugs in, and this is how the unit communicates. This is how you charge the unit and how it communicates. If these are really dirty and nasty and you're plugging your cable in, you effectively can force contamination down into these pins, and that can cause all kind of problems. Like it may not charge, it may not communicate properly. This can get to the point where you can't even clean it anymore. You may have to replace this whole end cap, which can get expensive. So a way to fix that, and it's really simple. When I show you this trick, you're going to say, oh, why didn't I think of that? You just put in a Ziploc bag. I say Ziploc, just a plastic bag like this. This one actually says Brawny Essential. So let's show you how easy this process is. Let me get my Tapecoat out of the way here, and I'll put the camera here so you can see it. I just like the ones with the, easy close top on them. You open it up, you put your counter in like so, close it, you squeeze the air out of it, close it down, and now you're good to go. Thing about a Ziploc being clear, you can still see your arrows here. That's the way the car has to travel for it to count and classify properly. By comparison, if you used our rubber cover, it has an arrow on it. So if you're going to use a rubber cover, your counter's pointed in the direction of a vehicle, and the rubber cover has a cutout, it would fit right on top of it like this, and you would put your screws down in this cover, and that would hold on the roadway. If you don't want to use a rubber cover, that's where the Tapecoat would come in. You would have your counter on the roadway. The cars would go this direction with the arrows. You'd actually cut your Tapecoat to the proper length. So let's we roll this out like so, and we would cut it to fit. So what I do is I recommend that you cut it a little bigger than normal size that you need, because you want enough surface area around the counter to allow it to stick on the pavement. So in this case, you want to give yourself 3 or 4 inches on each side. So you can roll it out like so. Take a knife, razor, cut it here. You got you a nice square to go across this device and stick it down. All right, so just to clarify, you have your plastic bag. You want it to lay flat, so you just kind of twist the bag around, move the ends over here to the side like this. So your bag is gonna lay flat. I've got it on this example just so you can see what it looks like. The tape coat actually goes on top of it. The counter goes on the bottom toward the roadway. But just to give you a reference, the counter itself is 7 inches long. You want to have your square roughly 14 inches or longer. So 14 inches here, that gives you at least 3 inches on each side of the counter. See here? And that gives you enough overlap all around the counter for it to stick down on the pavement. So the way it would look is you'd actually come over here, you'd razor knife this, you put it on the roadway like so. And then you'd lay this piece over it like that. Once you figured out about where you wanted it, you pull this up, you pull the clear plastic off the back, you'd stick it down, you press all the way around, get all the air pockets out of it, make sure it completely forms around the counter itself, and you're ready to go. When you're done with your traffic count, you're ready to get this out, it may be almost impossible to pull this up. So if you pull and you can't get it up and it's stuck really well, what I recommend is you take a razor and you just cut around the outline of the traffic counter here, cut the square out, and just pull the traffic counter out. Now what's going to happen is the top layer of this is still going to be stuck to the plastic bag, but what's nice is you can easily remove the counter from the plastic bag and it's going to be clean and look like brand new. And what that means is it's going to look just like this. So that's a big difference. We take this back out of here just to show you over time. Your unit should continue to look like this and not like this. So while this unit is still functional and works, it's in for a battery because it's X years old and the lithium battery had to be replaced. This is a brand new unit off the shelf. This is how it looks when it hasn't been contaminated with any kind of tape coat on over the years. And I want to show you what the pins look like. That's how they look when they haven't been contaminated. So just a little bit of general maintenance here. You can clean these, you can get the rubber off, but this is just some things to know if you weren't sure how to use tape coat. That's how you do it. It's very easy to put tape coat down. Just get you a plastic bag, something like this. You can go ahead and cut these before you go out on the roadway to make it a lot faster to put it down, or you can just cut it to fit once you're in the roadway. A lot of people just go ahead and they cut the squares, they bring it out and they toss them down, they're ready to go. An alternative is the rubber cover. It's a very popular option. The problem is if you're in asphalt, typically you can have some self-drilling screws and run them down with a flat washer and put them in the corners and the sides, and it holds this down very nicely. If you're in concrete, you may have to pre-drill the holes with a bit and then put in the actual bolts into the pavement. So it all depends on what you're using it for. But the rubber cover is very nice, has a cutout here for the traffic counter to sit in, and it gives you an arrow so you know exactly which way the counter is. You can put this on there and you're ready to go. So any questions, let me know. You can reach us at 1-800-380-1718 for technical support. Anytime, we'll be happy to help. And check out our other YouTube videos for any helpful information you might need on all of our products. I'll try to put up more videos like this that should be helpful if you have any questions. Thank you.